Shandalar and Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion on the lands, legends, planes, and planeswalkers of Magic the Gathering, where I go over every aspect of the history and information about these various components of the world settings of Magic the Gathering, so you know a little bit more information about them, understand the world settings some more, some of the details, and the lore of Magic. So today I have for you another planeswalker, Leshrac. Now, Leshrac is a planeswalker of true unknown origin and unknown age, but he is a pre-mending world planeswalker. When planeswalkers were nigh deities, he spent much of his time on Dominaria, and was in fact there when the Shard was created, trapping him upon that plane. He was known by the monikers the Walker of the Night, or the Nightwalker for short. Now, when he was trapped in the Shard, he decided he would try to escape. And of course, the only way to escape was through the plane of Shandalar. So he made pacts with Jeska in order for the two of them to effectively conquer Shandalar together, to rid it of the control of the people that had been there, and use the mana-rich plane to allow them both to travel from the Shard and back out into the multiverse, to wander where they should desire. The two of them brought forth lim-dul the necromancer, and summoned a horde of undead to work under him, and began their siege upon the plane. Unfortunately for them, lim-dul was eventually defeated by Joda, and effectively banished from the land, kept in check. Now, Leshrac himself did attend the summit of the Null Moon, and it was he was one of the main reasons that violence erupted there. This summit about what was going on with the ending of the Shard, of the casting of the world spell. Eventually, though, Leshrac was defeated upon Shandalar, and both him and Jeska were forced to retreat from there. He had a planned-on undead host to use in order to control the plane and to gain his manipulation. Leshrac was more of a behind-the-scenes individual rather than direct confrontation, but Kanan, the planeswalker who protected Shandalar, had managed to oust him, and so he was forced to flee. Now, he wandered the multiverse for some time, until he was finally able to return to Dominaria. And of course, during this period, the Shard had already been broken. He headed to the Kush region, where he attempted to effectively rule over it from the shadows. He was eventually tracked down by Jeska and imprisoned in Phyrexia, where he spent countless untold eons in torment in Phyrexia, until he was freed by the Mox Beacon, and then he was said to participate in the Planeswalker Wars, an event that we know very little to no information about. His status after now? Unknown. We're not sure what happened to Leshrac after this period of time, though he did reappear 300 years after the Phyrexian invasion, during the time of the Time Rifts. He came to Urborg, where he freed the Weaver King and attempted to manipulate this force behind the shadow and control Urborg. But he was not the only being to return to Dominaria during this time period. The Myosian of Night's Reach came there and struck a deal with Leshrac. She offered a powerful artifact to Leshrac, this spirit, in order to help her defeat the dragon planeswalker Nicol Bolas once and for all. Her mask. Leshrac, which she did bet upon, had his own ambitions and own desire for power. So, of course, defeating one of the most legendary, most powerful of all planeswalker, maybe stealing some of his power, would have been a juicy tidbit that even he could not resist. Leshrac played into this by finding Jeska. The planeswalker Jeska had returned to Dominaria after a long time being absent, and when Leshrac approached her and offered the mask, she refused. But a seed of doubt was all he needed to basically gain manipulation over her. He used her to close two of the rifts, the ones in Yavimaya and Zalfir. Unfortunately for Teferi and his band, who had been attempting to close these two, this meant great losses. She was using Rada, the Keldon warlord, in order to channel energies into the rifts and close them, basically almost killing the Keldon. And the mannerism in which this went by resulted in the permanent loss of Zalfir. Lost to the void. Lost to time and space itself. And so they were wounded and defeated. The final card was in the Mattern Rift. Leshrac planned to have Jeska ambush and attempt to defeat the Elder Dragon Nicol Bolas, force her to do the fight for him. He did something, though, that was almost helpful to her. He took Phage's dark consumption power, Phage's ability to basically rot everything in that had been deep within her from when she was Phage, and took it from her, and then prepared for the Elder Dragon to arrive. And when he did, Jeska, seemingly away from her control, refused to fight the dragon. This forced Leshrac himself to get into a battle with the Elder Dragon. Seemingly, Leshrac gained the upper hand. He used the Talon Gates, which were here, to paralyze the dragon and to temporarily remove his planeswalking powers, and then infested him with Phage's power. The two of them tussled, world after world, seemingly tumbling through the multiverses as pieces of the Elder Dragon were shed here and there across the multiverse. And then they returned to Dominaria, where Leshrac prepared the final spell, the final blow, to banish and destroy Nicol Bolas once and for all. But everything was not what it seems. Seconds before that final blow was brought, Leshrac was impaled by Nicol Bolas' skeletal tail. He revealed the fact that the artifact, the mask of the Myosian of Night's Reach that Leshrac had, was nothing more than a copy, and that Nicol Bolas had the true mask in his possession. As Nicol Bolas' body regenerated, returned to the state it once had been, he took the mask and sealed Leshrac away in it, and then used the mask, with Leshrac in it, to seal the modern gate, the modern time rift, seemingly destroying Leshrac, the Nightwalker, once and for all, using his essence to close the rift. Now, we have never seen Leshrac in card form. We've only heard about his exploits and seen him in this form here. It's hard to truly tell what kind of power as a planeswalker he once had. But we know he was deadly, and we know his influence has been seen in many cards. But that's it for today. So I introduced you to a planeswalker, Leshrac, a powerful villain who had cults and evil working beneath him within Dominaria during the Ice Age. His true age and true history are unknown, but we do know that he attempted an invasion of Shandalar, foiled. He fought in the Planeswalkers War, a history that is unknown. And of course, he was there during the time rips, manipulating things that were going on, manipulating Jeska, and he attempted to kill Nicol Bolas, only to result in his own demise. Leshrac has a interesting legacy, one that perhaps the time rips wouldn't have been closed as successful if he didn't force the point. He's forcing of the point, rather than attempting to do it in a subtle, nicer way, may have helped things out. So perhaps this dark force did do some good in the end. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It shows you support the channel, the Empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, go and check out my Patreon, link in the description below. There's some great rewards there. Helps to grow and improve the channel and the Empire. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.